All right, everyone. We've got another very nice system here for sale. It will be going up on eBay shortly, and please follow the links at the bottom of this video for the link directly to the eBay ad once I post it. What do we have here? Today we have a Harris RF-3200ET. The E designates a later version with ALE and and an LCD display and some other features. The T in the ET model designates that it's transportable. And what you can see here kind of is that it's in a 0 Halliburton aluminum case. Happens to be black, not a color that I would have chosen, but I guess that's what they do. Largely, the system was used or designed for use at embassies and other places, maybe businesses or emergency people who needed to carry a radio around. This is a 125 watt HF radio, which is quite nice. And some other nice features is in the lid. In the lid of this actually is an antenna coupler, and this is designed to attach a long wire. And the radio also comes with the standard Harris mic, which is locked. Nice place to lock in here if I can get it out. I'll have to get it out in a minute. And it's got an HF, a long wire HF wire with designated with the frequencies here. So, for example, 18 megahertz. You just roll it out. This is a long coax with a centerpiece for a dipole, of which this becomes one end of the dipole. I don't know why these were only provided with one. I do not have the other available at this time, at least that I can think of. If I find it, I'll throw it in. Honestly, I think they only came with a single long wire, and they were designed to use the high voltage connection here. If they were really designed to use the dipole, you would probably have a coax connection. They don't. I suspect that this is used. You could use an adapter to go from high voltage to coax, and I might have that somewhere. I'll have to look for that. Otherwise, if I have it, I'll throw it in. So very convenient to have this. I'll tell you another great thing about this. Right now, I've got a very short jumper between the output of the radio and the input of the coupler. But what's really great is you can separate these. You can the cover slot comes off. It's you can imagine it just slides out here from the hinge, and you can locate the antenna coupler quite a distance, probably a few hundred feet. I don't know exactly how many. The specs in the manual, I'm sure, have it. Maybe as much as 250 feet. You can separate the antenna coupler from the radio, so the radio could be nice and comfortably in your location, and then this could be out by your antenna. And what's really, really great about this setup is that you don't need a control cable. All the control signals, as well as the HF, all go over one coax one coax cable. So it's really great. All you need is a nice bit of coax. Run it up to, I think, 250 feet. Don't quote me on that. It's certainly 100 and 150 is no problem. And yeah, you don't need any fancy control cable. That's really a very nice situation in these portable radios, not have to deal with a massive control cable. So the radio, as I mentioned, comes with the original mic. Comes with this. By the way, you'll see that there's got some string here. The other thing it comes with is this is a 12-volt adapter for use in a car. For example, if you're stuck somewhere. This is a 12-volt radio, which is kind of unusual for Harris, most of their stuff being military with 24-volt, but this really is more commercial use than military. And so that's it. So we get our battery voltage 12 or 13.6 in. We connect this in here, connect this to the posts of the battery, and you're good to go. Very, very nice feature. We also have the original card that gives the radio serial number, the user level password, and a security level password. Some of these different passwords are required to change more and more deeply rooted parts and configurations of the system. But it's all here. Normally, this is taped to the inside of this door here. I've chosen to take it out and instead put my own put my own passwords in here. This is the same passwords as on this original piece of paper. I didn't change them. I just thought that this wrapped up inside here was just a bad idea. It was going to get crushed, or it was going to get ruined or lost. So so I just put the information here. So the other really neat thing about this setup is this handset. Okay, this is an RF-3200ET handset. I've got a little manual on this, a user manual on my website, and it's quite badass, really badass looking. It's really neat. It looks like to me like it's based on a Raycal RA250 handset, but then it's got this really neat keyboard and LED bubble display, which we'll show you in a minute. The purpose of this was mostly for controlling the ALE and making calls. So you could punch a station in here, send it, and the radio would then through ALE connect to the distant station, and then you can communicate with them. I have really not played a lot with this, although there are some sequences of keys you could do to make it display different things, but I really haven't done anything with it. Barely even looked at the manual. Maybe I'll do that at some point. Just another point, it's really in good shape, except there are some scuffs here and there. As you can imagine, for a radio that's in use. I use this many times on vacations, throw it in the car, but there are scratches here or there. Look at the eBay ad for more pictures, but really it's quite in nice shape. There's a little bit of maybe sticker residue. I think a little Goo Gone could get rid of some of that stuff pretty easily, but it's in very nice shape. So we'll just give a quick turn on and see what we get here. Okay, sorry for the glare. Well, maybe I'll come at this from a slight angle. So I'm not going to go through too much. The radio's a little bit, you got to do some figuring out, but basically there's different groups, which is kind of like a mode. Let me see if I turn this one light off that's making a reflection. Okay, I think that's better. So you've got the F group, which you can see here. That's for direct frequency entry, and either you could enter it in on this keyboard that is hidden by this door, or you can put it in here. And you could also change the tuning rate. So, for example, you want 1 kilohertz tuning rates, you do that. Got a very nice encoder, really good for ham use, unlike a lot of other military radios that are sort of channelized. This is very user-friendly. There are other groups. There's Group 1, which is a group of channels. So these are various channels programmed in. I don't know what they're for. And then there's another group, which I think is goes up to like 25 channels. I think this has got like 100 channels. I don't really remember. But yeah, it's got plenty of channels in here. There's also a scan feature. I haven't really played much with it. I don't know how to get it started, but it's in there, and you can scan between single sideband channels, or I think the channels have to be in the number 1 group to scan them. Now this radio also has ALE option, which is very nice. I've not played with it at all, but there's a button here for options. Lots of other buttons here, whether you're going to show reflected power, what the display is going to show, some info, a noise blanker, which is actually very useful. Noise blanker on off. See the NB. Very useful, especially for automotive use. And then I was going to show you the options here, the option button. And right now it's off ALE, but you can just rotate the knob to set it on. And then once you do, there's all kinds of programming that you got to do. So I have not really played with that, but it is standard in this version of the radio. It's included in this version of the radio. So let's go back to regular off. Okay. Oops. All right. There's a remote control card. That's ASCII remote control. Let's install that and play with that. Oh, not program. Let's fix that. Okay. Let's hit enter this time. Okay. That's largely it. We'll do some power tests. I've got my little trusty watt meter, but first, as you can see, it's connected to the coupler. Even though there's nothing attached, let's see if we can have the coupler do its thing. Listen quietly. Maybe you can hear the coupler. And that's it. So even though there's no antenna, it's able to find a match. And that's not uncommon with these Harris radios. Many of them, although I don't know the specs on this one, many of them allow up to a 4-to-1 SWR. So yeah, and we'll try some other frequency, and we'll hit the tuner again. Yeah, let's try that one. Yeah, there you go. So you can hear, hopefully you heard the tuner. Now what we're going to do is we're going to put it on the watt meter. We're going to take it off the coupler, and we're going to put it in the watt meter just to see what we can get out of it. So stay tuned. Okay, one thing I remembered is that because the coupler connects only with an RF cable and no other control cable, that there's power always on this coax. There's some DC power, and that's what powers the coupler. So I remembered I really should shut that off before I put it into the watt meter. I don't remember how much voltage is on it, but it's probably some unwanted power. So to do that, I had to remember how to do all this stuff. But basically, we're going to go into the programming mode. So hit this PGM button. It's going to ask for the password, and I'm going to use the password, the first password here, which is 427748. Enter. Okay, so there's all kinds of things you can configure, but let's basically first start off with the configuration. And to do that, by the way, you can move the arrows around, or you could use, there's also places where you use the rotary encoder. So let's hit enter here. Okay, there's a million things that you can set on this radio. So we're going to use the encoder, the rotary knob here, and just go through just to look at some of them and see what we got. Channel programming, zero-wise radio, high frequency range, low frequency range, transmit high and low frequency, enable frequency display. Yes, you might not want to do this if you're working on a channelized operation. You just want to make it simple for people. Group F-axis, receive and transmit. A is disabled. Maybe that's the ALE group. I'm sure you can enable that. ITU channels, default sideband for CW and data is upper. LPA, low power below 124 megahertz, no. Noise blanker, alarm option, I think this is installed. I haven't enabled it. Wideband filter, yes. Narrowband filter, yes. Now, coupler, this is where you select the coupler. Somehow, I don't remember if I can say none. Let me just see if this, here's all kinds of 601, 382, interesting. 601, 2601. No coupler. That's what I think we want, no coupler, right there. Okay, with no coupler, then it should not put any power on that RF, and we can put it into the watt meter. Let's see what else we have here. All the remote communications, the baud rates, data bits, stop bits, parity, all the things. Local echo, convenient. You can change the user password here, scan times, dwell times, tuning knob resolution, very useful. AGC for data, AGC for CW, ARQ. Okay, this is also the coupler power for data and CW modes, etc. Dwell time for data. That's it, back to the beginning. So let's see if we can exit out of here. I think we just did clear. Okay, so I'm going to pause the radio and finish connecting up the watt meter, and we'll do that test that we started to do. Okay, so we're on some just random frequency here, and it's on 150 watts, and I'll just whistle. That's getting between 125 and 150 watts out pretty reliably. Yeah, that's it. We'll just do one more random frequency, and see how that works. Nice solid 150 watts out. So that's basically it. A little simple test of this radio. This is going to be available, as I said, on eBay very shortly. Hope you enjoyed the video. Ask any questions, please subscribe. Thank you.